Hi, I am Krista McNamara, Content Channel Director with Motor Age Magazine. So owning a shop is no easy task in today's market, and many shop owners can really struggle to earn the money they deserve. Today's webinar, The Shop Owner's Blueprint to More Time, Money, and Less Hassles, presented by our sponsor, Repair Shop Coach, will help you really take more control of your business, boost your take-home pay, and make your shop fun again. So with us today is Ron Ipach. He's the president of Repair Shop Coach, and he's going to be your guide today in improving your shop management and its overall success at the end of the day. So Ron and the Repair Shop Coach team really encourage your questions and interaction, and they invite you at any time throughout the webcast or in the future to reach out to them through their company website, repairshoponner.com, or you can email them at support@repairshopcoach.com. So Ron, why don't we get started?
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, we have a lot of great information for you here today, and I don't want you to miss any of it. So please do me a favor. Go ahead and turn off your cell phone, unplug the phone that's on your desk so nobody calls you, maybe even hang a sign on the outside of your door so nobody bothers you during this presentation, because like I said, we're going to be going through a lot of information. I don't want you to miss any of it. And if you're going to try to multitask and do everything all at once, I guarantee you're going to miss some very, very valuable information. So just cut out all the distractions and be here with us right now on this webinar so you can get the most out of it. I know what it's like. I've always been on webinars, and I've tried to check emails and answer questions from employees, and it just never works out. You wind up missing some great information. So please do yourself a favor and see if you could eliminate those distractions. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about what you're going to learn today. First off, we're going to talk about why so many hardworking shop owners struggle to earn the money and live the lifestyle that they deserve. You know, it's really sad that we come across this all the time, where people have just been, working their butts off, and they just don't have the money or the time to go out and enjoy life like they really thought they would. Then we're going to talk about how to eliminate all that chaos that's going on in your shop and to help you take control of your business. Then we'll talk about a zero-cost way, and this is what's really cool about this. There's not going to be any cost to implement the things we're going to be talking about on today's webinar. So this is going to be a zero-cost way to substantially boost your take-home pay. I'm not going to be asking you to spend a lot of money. As a matter of fact, I'm going to ask you to spend zero money. It's really a different thought process that we're going to be going through that's going to put a lot of extra money in your pocket. And then finally, we're going to talk about how to make your shop fun again. I know you guys, when you got started in business, everything you thought was going to be great. It was going to be a lot of fun. And that probably, hasn't worked out the way you thought. Also, we're going to give you a bonus at the end of the webinar. I'm going to tell you how to get free access to a brand new cash flow generator course that we just recently developed. And you're going to get free access to it. Again, we're not going to ask you for any money. We just want to kind of help you get jump started towards this new way of thinking and putting more money in your pocket. So this is a course we put together that's going to help you find thousands and thousands of dollars that are sitting there in your business right now instead of in your bank account. We're going to help you find that and help you extract it from your business and stick it into your bank account, because there's a lot of money lying around. You just got to know where to find it, and we'll show you exactly where to find it on this course. Plus, also at the end, I'm going to have an offer for you to help you accelerate your results of everything we're going to be talking about here by putting everything we'll be talking about into place into your shop. So some cool bonuses at the end. So let's talk about the big problem that we really want to address here. The big problem really is that the shop owns the shop owner instead of the other way around. And because of that, it's robbing you of the money, time, and freedom that you should be enjoying every single day. A lot of people say, well, I own an auto repair shop. But when we really dig in and look closely at it, when we see what's going on, it's actually you're almost a slave to the shop. You have to be there at certain times. You can't get away. It's just a very different situation. Instead of you being the person that's controlling the shop, the way the shop is set up, you're actually being controlled by the shop. So if you don't think that's you, let's go ahead and find out. Do you have these problems? Okay, so does this sound like you? You feel you're working way harder than you should to take home the money that you're making right now. If that's you, this is the webinar for you. Your technicians make almost as much or more than you do. It's a sad fact. We come across it a lot that technicians who don't have their blood, sweat, and tears into the business, they go home and they have a beer and they relax for the evening. Meanwhile, you're probably still at the shop, or if anything, mentally still at the shop, thinking about what's going on, thinking about how to make your next paychecks, all that worry. Yet the technician, once he walks out the door, he's done for the day and he's making more than you. So if you have that problem, this is a great webinar for you to be on. Maybe you feel that without you there, your business is going to suffer. So if you ever tried to get away, even for a couple days, and you were worried about what would happen to the business without you there, this is the webinar for you, because we're going to show you how to get back that control of that. So I can't see you, but go ahead and raise your hand anyway. Who here is not getting paid what you deserve? Do you really think you should be getting paid more? Go ahead, raise your hand. I can't see you. Hopefully nobody else is seeing you raise your hand staring at the computer. But if that's you, again, you're in a great place right now. Who here would like to start making every penny that you deserve? If that's you, go ahead and raise your hand, because again, you're on the right webinar. Now, before we get into this, I have some news for you. And I think it's important that I set the stage right now, because I honestly believe you're in full control over your future, because you are where you are right now because of what you've done in the past. Okay, I can't go backwards and change the situation that you may find yourself in, whether it's good or bad, because that's all in the past. So there's nothing we can do about it. But you have to understand that you're there because of what you've done. Nobody's done something to you to put you in the situation that you're at. Okay, so please just accept that you're in control of that. And your future is going to depend on the actions that you take from this day forward. So if you want to change the situation you're at, you have to change what you're doing. So you have to make the decision. Are you going to make a change, or are you going to stay exactly where you're at? And then you also have to act on that. So you can decide to make a change, but unless you actually act on it, you're never going to get anywhere different. Okay, so the future is going to depend on the decisions and actions that you take from this day forward. So in other words, you are the person that is in total control over your future income and lifestyle. It's all up to you. Okay, you don't look at the government, you don't look at the president, you don't look at the economy. No, it's you. You're the person that gets to make the changes that are going to get you to that next level. And again, we're going to be helping you here. And obviously, you made a really smart choice by being on this webinar, because we're here to help. Again, we're not asking for money. We're actually going to be giving you a lot of great things to get you to that next level. Okay, so again, in the right place. Let me ask you a question. Are you doing this now? Are you still turning wrenches, or maybe you're the go-to answer guy for your technicians? Maybe you were turning wrenches and you're pretty good at what you did. But maybe you may not be turning wrenches yourself. You may have your technicians constantly coming to you and asking you for advice. If so, that's a problem. Do you feel you're constantly putting out fires every day? I mean, think about it. How many times have you gone into the shop and at the end of the day, you look backwards and say, what the heck did I get done? You're just running from one fire to another, just constantly dealing with problems rather than getting things done. Are you working hard but never really feel like you're getting anything done? How about spending sleepless nights thinking about how to pay the bills this month? I think every business owner has that problem. And that's, as a business owner, those are the challenges that we have to go through. Well, if you answered yes to any of those, your business is running you instead of you running it, and it's robbing you of money, time, and freedom. And that's really what we're here to discuss. We're here to help you take back the reins of your business and take control of the business, so that you can start steering it in the right direction. Okay, you're not a victim. You are the person in the driver's seat. And that's really what we want to help you get back into that driver's seat, so that business works for you instead of the other way around. But you're probably wondering, why the heck should you listen to us? Now, there are two of us on there. I know I've been yakking a lot. I will introduce my partner in crime here in just a minute, but you're listening to me. My name is Ron Ipach, and for the past 19 years, I've been helping shop owners like you to get and keep all the top quality customers they can handle. I'm a marketing guy. I live, eat, and breathe marketing. That's really what I love to do, and I've really specialized for 19 years in helping shop owners with that marketing. I've also worked with over 5,000 shop owners over the past 19 years. I've authored 2 books and dozens of marketing courses. Maybe you've read the books or gotten some of my marketing courses in the past. Over 19 years, I've created a lot of things for the auto repair industry. I've spoken all over the world to business owners. I've been a keynote speaker, done lots of traveling and speaking because of what I've learned as in marketing, and I've helped businesses all over the world. And really, the big thing that I have here is I have an extreme passion for seeing shop owners make the money and live the lifestyles they deserve. Because again, that's why I'm really excited to bring this webinar here, because I'm going to show you, just by simply taking the reins back of your business, that not only can you make more money, which who the heck doesn't want to make more money, but what's more important is have the time to go out and live a lifestyle that you deserve. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. And if the business owns you, then that's a big problem. So not only can I help you with the marketing aspect of it, but I'm really into the lifestyle aspect, because I know everybody on this is working your butt off. I don't think there's any lazy people watching this right now. You work hard, yet you don't seem to get what you really deserve. So that's really that's my big passion, is to help everybody get to where they really want to go. Now, again, I said I've been talking all this time, and I really haven't introduced my partner in crime here. So I would, if everybody wants to put their hands on the desk and give a nice little drum roll, and welcome Mr. Keith McCrone. How you doing, Keith?
I'm doing great, Ron. Thanks for that intro. I didn't know if I was going to have a chance to talk or not out here for a minute. But I want to say, obviously, thanks for everybody for joining us on this webinar here. I want to say, a special hello to all those shop owners that are joining us, and thank you very much. As you mentioned early on, Ron, thanks for joining us. My name again is Keith McCrone, and I've got 30 years experience in the automotive industry, and I spent about the first 10 years working in one of the local dealerships here, and it wasn't until I like to say I got that entrepreneurial seizure that I decided to go ahead and, go out on my own and start a shop. And, that I did after being in the dealership for about 10 years. I opened up a 2-bay shop. I was actually living out of my sister's attic, got rid of all my expenses, if you will, and lived out of my sister's attic and opened up a 2-bay shop. And, I pretty much white-knuckled it for the first 3 or 4 years in that 2-bay shop. All those things that you talked about earlier, Ron, it was me, man. I was, I hate to say it, it's sad to say, but I was paying my employees more than I was paying myself. I mean, I couldn't take time off, because if I did, I'd come back, and my gosh, the place was a disaster. I had so much problems and challenges when I got back, so it wasn't worth leaving. There was always a lot of chaos and stress inside the organization. And more importantly, man, I was really, really excited when I first went out on my own. I mean, we'll talk about that as we go along, but I was extremely excited. You're going out in a new venture and open up your own shop, and, you're going to be a business owner, right? Well, lo and behold, after doing that for about 3 to 4 years, I kind of lost a lot of the fun. I mean, I was just not excited of owning the shop anymore, and going in there and wearing all the hats and doing it day in, day out. But my biggest challenge at that time to get myself out of that situation is I just did not have enough cars. So my location with this 2-bay shop, I was actually located, in an area where I could not be found unless I would go ahead and I would market to someone and get them to call me on the phone, and then I'd have to give them directions on how to find me. So I didn't get any drive-by traffic. So needless to say, there were some times that we certainly could use more cars. And that wasn't, Ron, that was about the time that I, got some information from you. You started bombarding me with your marketing and everything, and I decided to go ahead and, get in the car and travel out there and sit in one of your seminars that you had, and boy, I tell you what, you really opened my eyes to a lot of the things that you can do as far as marketing. And I become an avid marketer. I went ahead and started marketing my business, and lo and behold, I had to go ahead and expand that location from a 2-bay shop to a 4-bay shop. And after being there for a couple of years, and I filled up that 4-bay shop, lo and behold, I had to go ahead and build myself a brand new location, and we did that about maybe a mile down the street. We opened up a 12-bay shop, and we were able to take that location to $2 million. So I kind of been there, done that with all the things that you were talking on early on, and then there's a lot of changes that we made to get to where we're at right now, and that's what we're going to be sharing with you here on this webinar. But currently, right now, I do have 3 shops. We're doing over $5 million in sales at those 3 locations. One of the shops we went ahead and took from 0 to $1 million in sales in only 12 months. Well, actually, it was 12 months in 1 week, so it was 53 weeks that we took that location from 0 to $1 million. That was probably my biggest accomplishment. And I want to kind of talk about that for a quick second. This location that we opened up was an abandoned location. It was located in one of the poorest cities here in Cleveland, and we decided to go ahead and take a crack at it. Let's go ahead and open up this location and put all the things to use that maybe we made mistakes before on, and we went ahead and we put systems in place, and we had some fixes, if you will, and we kind of had a blueprint. We like to say that we kind of cracked the code, if you will. Let's go ahead and put this blueprint to test in this location. And lo and behold, in 12 months, we were able to take this location from 0 to $1 million in 12 months. So we were pretty proud of that. Currently, right now, we got about 28 employees. Believe it or not, I work a lot less hours than I did when I had that 2-bay shop. Right now, I work about 5 hours a week. That's 5 hours a week on all 3 stores. And I, too, just like you, Ron, have an extreme passion working with shop owners. And I think the reason being is because I'm a shop owner just like them. I'm very passionate about the industry. I love cars, and being that I was struggling early on, and there was a lot of people that helped me turn that around, it's kind of nice to give back a little bit. Give back to those folks that maybe I would like to see a little bit more out of their shop, or they're just plain sick and tired of where they're at, and they're ready to make some changes. So I enjoy helping those shop owners as well. I want to go ahead and talk about, remember back when you first opened up your business. And I want you to really kind of think about this. I looked at this slide here early on. I really kind of gave it a lot of thought myself. And, when you first went into business, what did you go into business for? I mean, really think of that. I mean, I'm sure that everybody, the first one is very, very simple. You want to make lots of money. So what you were currently doing at that moment, you certainly were not making enough money. So you're like, hey, geez, if I go out and open up my own business, I'm going to be making a lot more money than I'm making right now. I want you to really take a good look at that and say, is my business really giving me what I want? Is my business really, am I making the money out of my business that I really want? And like you said early on, Ron, that you deserve with everything that you have on the line and all the time that you spend at your business. I want you to really think about that. When you went ahead and opened up your business, you probably also thought about, geez, it's going to be great to be my own boss, right? So no one's going to tell me what to do. I'm going to be able to make all these decisions. Lo and behold, like you said, Ron, I mean, where you're at right now, you have 100% control in that. I know that was one of the biggest things that I had to make changes early on to be able to get to where I'm at right now, was really take a good look in the mirror and say to myself, look, if you don't like where you're at, you put yourself here. So only you can get yourself out of here. Once you do that, that's when you're really going to start to see some changes inside your location. But maybe you went ahead and opened up your shop in the past and you said, hey, I'm doing that because I want to be my own boss, or I want to work my own hours. So, hey, instead of me, I don't want to go in today, I'm not going to go in. Well, think about that. When was the last time that you were able to take a day off just at a snap? So you had something that come up and you're like, boy, I just want to take the day off and I'm just not coming in. Is that something that you're capable of doing, or are you still that individual just working that 12, 13, 14, 15 hours a day? You're going to have plenty of vacation days, right? So maybe where you're working at before, you were working, maybe you're able to take 1 week's of vacation a year, or maybe 2, but now you're thinking, geez, what would it be like if I can take a month do throughout the year? Or what about if I could take an entire month off? Another reason why you might went into business in the first place was because maybe there was passion that you had in maybe traveling, golfing, boating, fishing. I know my passion, I loved racing. And the main reason why I went into business was all of the top things we mentioned. I wanted to make more money, be my own boss. I want to have more hours, but I wanted to be able to have time to be able to go to the racetracks. I wanted to be able to travel more and go to tracks that I'd never been to. And more importantly, you wanted to make sure that you had a lot of time for your family. Spend some family time, maybe go on those vacations. You always want to go on vacation, and or any vacation a family wanted to go on. Those might have been the reasons why you got in business. But let's take a really good look at the reality of it. It's really not what you thought it was going to be. I know back in the day when I talked about early on after I got out of that dealership and opened up my two-bay shop, you talk about overworked. I mean, I was working 45 hours at the dealership. I ended up working probably double that at my location. And more importantly, underpaid. I mean, I was probably making 10 to 15% of what I was making when I was at the dealership. When I did the math, it was cheaper. I could have gone and worked at McDonald's and not worked as hard to make the same amount of income without as much stress of owning a business. At the same time, I was taking absolutely no vacations. I mean, right now I've got two boys. I like to say my oldest boy didn't even know that he had a dad. The second one, he gets dad 100% because now I'm able to take as much time off as I like to be able to do things with my younger son. I had absolutely, like just mentioned right now, I had absolutely no time for the rest of the family to be able to do anything. And I was extremely frustrated. It certainly changed myself as a person. So I want to say the old Keith certainly was not the new Keith. I was very frustrated. I was unhappy. I started treating people differently than I like to just because I just did not like my situation that I was in.
Yeah, see, the problem is, by building that business and not knowing exactly the right way to build it, you've really created a runaway train. I mean, nobody's at the helm driving because you're actually doing, as we're going to be talking about in a second, you're doing a lot of employee work. You're doing a lot of things that you could hire other people to do, or could have other people do other things. Have other people do things for you, I should say, and you're doing everything you can just to keep it from running off the track. So you're not driving it; you're just trying to control it because, ultimately, your business is controlling you. And why does that happen? Well, geez, just look at everything you're doing every single day. I mean, you're marketing, you're answering phones, you're the go-to answer guy for your texts, you're ordering parts, dealing with employees, selling service, paying bills, turning wrenches, running for parts, shuttling customers, shop maintenance, looking for techs, interviewing, handling employee disputes, working on your key performance indicators, your numbers, dealing with customers, cleaning bathrooms, doing inspections, employee training, parts vendors, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. I mean, I could have gone on forever with those. Just look at what you do every single day. If you made a list of everything you did, you'd kind of feel like you're Superman, because you're trying to do everything and be everything for everybody, and that's just, that's a recipe for disaster. There's actually very few things on that list that you should be doing. Most of what shop owners do is they do all of this stuff, and most of it is employee work. So, is it any wonder why you're feeling so overworked, underpaid, and exhausted? You're doing all of that work. And the sad thing is, for all that effort, you're only making the wages of an employee instead of being rewarded like an owner. Like Keith had just said, when he was running his two-bay shop and his four-bay shop, he didn't have the time to go do anything because he was there turning the wrenches and answering the phones and doing everything. So consequently, he got the wages of an employee. So I think this is like a key point. So I want to kind of stay on this. You're a shop owner. I'll assume you're a shop owner. That's the reason why you're on this webinar. If you're not a shop owner, this probably isn't the time best spent for you, unless you're an aspiring shop owner. Okay, because we're not going to be talking technical things. We're going to be talking shop ownery things, you know. So let's talk about what the difference between an employee and what an owner does. Okay, and what they get paid for is most important. So an owner gets paid for things that relate to business ownership. So you're the one, you actually get paid for the vision that you have for your company and where it's headed, and setting those goals so that you can meet those goals. You get paid for measuring your key performance indicators. In other words, looking at your numbers to make sure that you're hitting the right margins, that you're making money on all the jobs that are out there, that you're converting phone calls into appointments, that customers are being handled the proper way. In other words, you get paid for the leadership that you provide for the people that work for you. Because somebody, again, has to be driving that train, and that's what an owner does. An owner gets paid for the marketing. You are the one that controls the amount of cars that come in your shop, and you have to have the right knowledge in place so that you can turn it up when you need more car count, and you can turn it down when you're just simply too busy. Again, an owner gets paid for looking at those things and controlling those. The owner gets paid for team building. In other words, constantly looking for technicians, looking for customer service people or service advisors if that's what you need. You get paid for building the right team. In other words, hiring the right people, training the people, and get everything working like a well-oiled machine, which then goes into systemization. You need to systematize everything, because without systems in place, you're having to reinvent the wheel every time you turn the key on the door every single morning. There's not a system in place. You're running around like a chicken with your head cut off. That's why you feel like you're running around putting out fires. So an owner actually gets paid for installing good, solid systems so everybody knows what they're supposed to do, when they're supposed to do it, and how they're supposed to do that. And then you also get paid for your continuing education. Again, you always want to be improving on what you do as an owner, and that's really where you get paid, is for your business education. Okay, that is pretty much it. There's maybe a few other things on there, but I wanted to get for you to have a really strong gist of what an owner should be doing, okay, versus what an employee does. Employees get paid for all of those other things, like fixing cars, selling the work, ordering parts, picking up the parts, answering phones and setting appointments, paying the bills, cleaning the shop, being the shuttle driver, and most of those other things that were on the previous slide. That's what employees get paid for. So you got to ask yourself the question, am I the owner, or am I an employee? Because if you're doing things that are on the right-hand column, you're an employee, but you also have to do the things on the left-hand column. So you might be the owner and the employee, so you're doing double duty. And again, that's what's robbing you of the time and money. You're just spending, you're trying to be Superman, and you just can't be Superman. This I'm going to give you permission to relax. I'm going to give you permission to work on the things that are going to be the biggest impact to your business, so that you take home the money and have the time that an owner gets paid for. Remember, you're putting the blood, sweat, and tears in there. You're the one that has the potential lawsuits. You're the one that everything, all the stuff rolls downstream to you. You're the guy. So you have those sleepless nights. You have the pressure. You have the hassles. You should get paid to be the owner. Okay. So let me ask you a question. Are you being paid? Are you taking home the salary of an owner? So here's where the rubber meets the road, and here's Again, this is, you may want to write this down, because what we're going to be talking about in the next few minutes is very, very key information that you must know. Okay, so I'm going to just assume, because I'm going to throw some numbers up here, and it's always difficult to run numbers that are going to be perfect for every shop owner. So I'm just going to kind of take an average of, the shops that we work with that are doing about 500,000. Okay, so your total sales of 500,000 represents 100%. Okay, 100% of the money comes in the door is attributed to your sales. So let's just say it's 500,000. Now, if yours isn't 500,000, take out a sheet of paper and write down what yours actually is. Okay, now your expenses and your costs of running the business should amount to 80% of that. So if you're doing $500,000 a year, 80% of those total sales get taken away by your costs and your expenses. And we'll talk about that on the next slide. I'll bring Keith in to talk about how we come up with that 80%. Okay, it's just, but for right now, I want to give you that 10,000 foot overview. Total sales of 500,000, if that's your shop, that represents 100% of what comes in the door. All your costs and expenses that get taken away are 80,000. So what means is you got 20% left, and that goes to you. So as an owner, you get to pocket the 20%, or $100,000. Okay, so now if that shocked you, if that is, you're thinking the numbers are wrong, well, that's because you may be doing it wrong, and that's what we're here to help you with here today, is to get a much clearer picture on paying attention to the numbers that make the most impact. So the costs and expenses, which Keith will go over in a second, amount to 80%. 20% is you. Okay, so if you're doing 500,000 in business, you should be taking home $100,000. Okay, this is before tax. We're not talking, we're talking before the government reaches in and grabs their share of it. Okay, so if you're not doing 500,000, or if you are doing 500,000 yet not taking home 20% of that, or 100,000, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Now, Keith, I'm going to ask you to handle this next thing, because this all costs and expenses at 80%. I want to kind of let's break that down a little better for everybody, because I know this is going to there's going to be a lot of questions being asked about it, and we'll be happy to answer those questions at the end of the webinar. So you may want to write down your question while we're thinking about it. But Keith, let's talk about the formula that you use in your shop.
Absolutely. Before I actually jump into this formula here, Ron, I want to kind of reference on a couple of slides that you had early on. I don't want anybody to underestimate that runaway train slide that you had on there. I remember when I first met with you, and you clearly could tell that I was not happy in my current situation. And you kind of mentioned to me, Keith, listen, you're basically like a train on a track. And if you're not happy right now, what do you think it's going to look like when you get to your destination while you're on that train, on that track? You need to get up off of this track here and get on a different track and start going down a different track to get to where you want to go, because you might be putting a lot of time and effort in, and once you get to your destination, you're not going to like it. And it was almost like that was like a light bulb that went off in my head. It's like, look, either way, there's going to be work that is going to be required to be a business owner, but I want to make sure that I'm putting the work and effort in the right things so I can get to the destination that I desire. And at that current moment, I was not. I hated the path that I was on, and it was like, clearly, when I get to where I'm going, I'm certainly not going to like it if I don't like where I'm at right now. My challenge is I didn't know what to do. I had no clue what to do. And it wasn't until basically I realized, and I'm going to have you go one more slide if you could. This slide here is like gold. It was like what I knew how to do was everything on the right. I knew how to go ahead and fix cars and sell the work and pick up the phone and call the parts guy and order the parts and go ahead and pay the bills in the evening, clean. I knew how to do that. The problem was I didn't know how to do everything that was on the left side of the screen. I didn't know how to say, hey, this is my vision, and I'd set goals to be able to get there. And what key performance indicators do I need to measure so that I make sure that I get to where I want to go? And how do I lead my people so I can make my people, I want to say, elevate my people to do a better job that'll kind of set me free? How do I market to make sure we got enough cars? But if you look at everything on the left-hand side, man, those things are going to make you a lot of money. If you look on the right side of things, it'll make you some money, but it certainly is not going to make you a lot of money or set you free from the business, which early on we talked about. Those are the things that we really, really want to get out of our business. So the activity needs to be the things on the left. You may not know how to do that right now. And those are the things that you'll need to learn how to do so that you can go ahead and get yourself set free from your business. Now, let's take a look at that right side again. If you are stuck on the right side of that screen, pretty much those activities happen constantly. You have to do that every day and all day. You got to answer phones, fix cars, pay bills. My gosh, if you're stuck in that, you're never going to get out of that until you hire the right people to do that. But if you get on the left side of the screen and you start setting goals and you do some measurements and you do some good leadership, all of those things take time, but they certainly don't take 40 hours a week to do. Once you get the ground foundation set up, you get the right people in there, it's like, man, all I got to do is just go ahead and manage this thing now, and it's a lot easier than it is to be an employee in your business. It's a lot easier to be the owner of the business. So that's huge, Ron, what you covered there. But let's go ahead and talk now about what I like to call the magic formula, if you will. Now, we use this formula at all three of our shops, and we work with a lot of other shops across the country. So this formula holds true pretty much for 99% of the shops that are out there. But when we're talking about taking a look at, say, these are key performance indicators, if you will, but you want to know where your money is going inside your business. Because until you know where your money is going, it's very difficult to be able to manage that money. So if you take a look at 100% of your total gross sales, so it's all sales, and it doesn't matter if you're looking at it for a week, if you're looking at it for a month, or you're looking at it for a year, it's anything that you sell, it equals total sales. Now I want to take a look at, well, how much should I allocate towards certain things in my business, such as parts cost? How much should the total sales go towards parts cost? Well, no more than 25% should go towards your parts cost of your gross sales. The next thing is your tech cost. So how much should go to my tech cost? Well, there's no more that should go to your tech cost than 20%. 20% of your gross sales will go towards tech cost. Next is your service advisor. So how much should I go ahead and allocate towards my service advisor according to my gross sales? Well, no more than 10% should go to your service advisor. And then last, you've got your expenses. So no more than 25% should go towards your expenses. Now you're probably saying, geez, what is an expense? What are you categorizing as an expense? Well, take a look above that. It's everything other than service advisor pay, it's everything other than tech cost, and it's everything other than parts cost. Everything else is an expense. Any lease on equipment that you've got, if you lease your building or own it, your insurance, your software lease, if you got monthly costs on your software, your insurance, all your utilities, all of that stuff is an expense. No more than 25% should go to that. If you get all of this right, then you're going to be able to keep 20% net profit to your bottom line. Now, I want you to think about this, because I know in the beginning I was not a numbers guy. And when somebody said 20% net, that really didn't mean too much. Let me kind of break this down so you can understand it maybe a little bit better. Every dollar that comes in your front door, you as an owner should be keeping 20 cents of every one of those dollars coming in. Now I'm going to tell you, if you're not getting the 20% net, which I'm going to tell you, most shop owners are not. I mean, right now the national average out there, I think it's like 5% of the shops, I'm saying majority of the shops out there are keeping 5% net to their bottom line. That's 5 cents on every dollar that's coming in. And the problem is, if you ask them, why are you only taking 5% net to the bottom line? They don't have the answer. They clearly don't know the reason why. They usually put the blame on cars. We need more cars. Surprisingly, that is not the answer to the problem. Once you go ahead and you start taking a look at these numbers here, it's clearly going to tell you where some of your problems are and why your business is robbing you from the profits that you deserve. So this formula here is very, very important for you to be measuring your shop. Again, we look at it every week, and also we look at it year to date to make sure where our monies are going so that we can get to the 20% net profit to the bottom line.
Yeah, now this is, by the way, this is owner's money. So that net profit, the 20%, goes in your pocket as the owner. All right. So
That's a good point.
yeah, let me just talk about this next thing. Are you being paid the salary of an owner plus an employee? Because you're also, I guarantee, you're also doing employee work. So let's talk about the thing we just talked about. The owner's take-home pay should be 20%. So in this case, if it was $500,000 in total sales, you should be, as the owner, paying yourself $100,000 out of it. But that's as the owner. Remember everything that was in that left-hand column. Running the business, controlling the business, not working in the business. A lot of people say working on the business or in the business. You get paid to work on the business as an owner. But if you're also doing employee work, well, you need to get paid for that as well. So this $100,000 goes in your pocket as the reward for being an owner. But if you're doing extra work that could be done by an employee, in other words, if you're turning wrenches, you're answering phones, you're setting appointments, or you're selling service or something else, and let's just say, for the sake of the argument, that you could hire somebody for $40,000 to do that work for you. And if you're doing that work right now, you should be pocketing that. Okay, that money comes out of the $400,000, for all expenses. Well, all expenses include what you would pay a technician. Well, if you pay a technician $40,000 to do that work, that should go in your pocket as well. Okay, so the take home is 20% plus what you would pay an employee to do if you're doing employee work. So in other words, you should be taking home $140,000 if you're bringing in $500,000 in gross sales and working in the business as an employee. Okay, I hope I didn't confuse anybody with this. So in other words, the $100,000 is what you take home as the owner. That's 20%. That's what you get for the blood, sweat, and tears and controlling the business the way that you should be controlling the business. If you're doing employee style work, everything that was in that right-hand column, you also get paid for that. Now, my question is, how many of you, if your business was doing $500,000, are paying yourself over $100,000 in every single year? I'm going to guess much, 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 much less than this. As Keith pointed out, it's like 5 or 6% is the national average. And that's for shop owners that are actually still working in the business. So, you're way underpaying yourself. Now, there's nothing here that costs you money. Again, I'll go back to what we talked about early on in this webinar. We're not here to get you to spend more money. We're here to help you make more money and put more money in your pocket by running the business the right way. In other words, running it as an owner, not as an employee that just happens to be an owner. So how much does this really cost you? Because you're not doing things this way, because you're not looking at the ownership versus being an employee. Well, let's talk about it. So how about you? If you did $300,000 in gross sales last year and you did not work as an employee, you should have taken home $60,000. If you did $600,000 in business and did not work in the business, in other words, you did more of an absentee owner job, you should have taken home $120,000. If you did $800,000 in business, again, working sort of like an absentee owner, it's $160,000 that you should have paid yourself. In addition to that, you should have paid yourself employee wages if you're doing employees. How much did you actually take home last year? And if your number isn't close to any of these, that is a very, very big problem. It's not a matter of spending more. It's a matter of doing the right things in your business so that you keep more. That's the brilliance of this. That's the simplicity of this. It's a matter of running the business instead of the business running you. Keith, you have anything to say about that?
I want to kind of jump in because I think it's really, really important to slide before this that people really understand that. And I think that I can kind of give them a little scenario for they can truly understand, because this happens all the time. It would be the one more slide, I think, after this, but this happens all of the time. So a shop owner will come into our fold, and you'll sit down and talk to them, and they think they're doing a really good job. So you maybe, a shop's doing $500,000 a year in gross sales, and I say, well, what kind of net are you taking home? And they say $100,000, and you're like, okay, that's great, But then I ask that person, well, what do you do at your shop? What do you do as an owner? and I find out that he's a service advisor. And then I might say, okay, well, great. What would it cost to go ahead and replace a service advisor and get you out of there? So what would you have to pay a service advisor to do what you're doing, and you can get out and work on the business? And he might say somewhere around $50,000. Well, that means then your business is only making $50,000 net profit to the bottom line, and we're losing $50,000 somewhere. And I don't know about you, but that's not okay. We need to find out where that $50,000 loss is. So it's almost like he's skewing the numbers because he's actually working in his business and he's looking at his business as making 20% net, when in all reality that's not the case. It's only making 10% net to the bottom line, which is $50,000, and he's losing $50,000. Another way to kind of explain that is that, you know, with our 3 shops, let's just say if I went to one of the shops and I got rid of one of my service advisors and I had to go in there and sell. Well, I would anticipate making the $75,000 that service advisor was making, but I still would want to make my 20% net to the bottom line. So you got to be very careful there. One of my business our business partners, Jerry Frank, who's really sharp on the numbers, he likes to say that pretty much the owner gets paid for what he knows. That's the 20%. Okay? He doesn't get paid for what he does. In other words, if he's working in the business, he's getting paid for what you do. He's physically working in the business. Now, we have some shop owners, believe it or not, that still like to do that, but they make money on both ends. And that's okay if that's something that you want to do. But you got to be clear when you take a look at this, because you could be leaving a lot of money on the table.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. If you love turning wrenches, we're not telling you to stop turning wrenches. If you love selling service, we're not telling you to stop selling service. All we're telling you to do is take your 20% as an owner and then also get paid to turn wrenches or sell service if that's what you like to do. Okay, don't look at yourself as an employee. Look at it as an owner and an employee. So you get paid at both ends. So let's talk about the 5. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to move on now that I think that it's it's coming down to the end here, but I think it's one of the best slides that we've got on here. At least I know it was for me. It was a game changer. But the 5 steps to getting paid like an owner. Get your pens and paper out if you haven't done already, and start writing down some notes here, because this is critical. So the 5 steps to getting paid like an owner. The very first thing you need to do is develop a solid business plan. And I'm not talking about a business plan that you actually take to the bank to try to get a loan. I'm talking about a business plan that you clearly know what you have to do performance-wise every day out of your store to be able to make that 20% net that we talked about. So what does the gross sales have to be every day? What does the average ticket have to be? How many cars do we need coming through here to be able to get to that desired gross sales? You know, how many billable hours do we need for the technicians? It's really important to understand that. Once I put that together for my business, I'm like, great, now I've got a target. All I got to do now is work hard to be able to hit all these numbers. But before I had this business plan, let me share with you the business plan that I had. My business plan was basically to go in there every day, put the key in the door, open it up, go inside, turn the lights on, pull the messages, pretty much work my ass off, if you will, all day long, and then go ahead, turn the lights off, lock the door, and come back the following day and do the exact same thing and try to work harder. And I did that for like 3 or 4 years when I realized, listen, I'm sick and tired at the end of the month pretty much going and paying my bills after I ran my business that way, thinking I had a great month. I go ahead and pay my bills, and I find out that there's no money left over for me. I'm like, there's something wrong here. The problem was I did not have a business plan that I clearly knew what I had to do performance-wise out of my store, and I didn't measure it to make sure that I'm on the right track that we talked about earlier to get to where I want to go. The second thing is you have to surround yourself with the right people. There's no question. It's almost like saying, look, I want to have a top sports team, and I want to go win, like maybe it's a football team, and I want to win the Super Bowl. There's no way you're going to be able to do that if you don't have the best players on your team. And let's face it, if I don't have a business plan so I clearly know the performance levels I need out of my people, what am I hiring my people based on? The guy looks like a nice person and my customers are going to like him? Well, that's important, but that's a byproduct. When we're hiring people, we're hiring them to do a job, and we clearly need to know what the performance levels are in step number one, which is the business plan, so we can go out and hire the right people and give them the goals. It's not our responsibility to hit them, it's their responsibility. The third thing is to understand and track the numbers, which is what we call the key performance indicators. So we talked about once you've got the business plan, it's really important that we develop what we call a weekly tracking sheet. The weekly tracking sheet has got the key performance indicators on there that the employees that you hire, they track their key performance indicators and why they're there. It's not your responsibility to track them, it's their responsibility. That's why you hired them. Your job is to find the right people, make sure you train them the best you can, but it's their job to hit the numbers and track their key performance indicators. This last one here is very important, number 4 too, which is making sure that you've got systems inside your organization. Look, when you leave right now, the true reason why there's a lot of chaos is when you get back is people don't know what to do. I mean, how to run your business is basically in your head. And when you leave, you're actually taking that information with you. So they're kind of standing around when they run into a problem, and they've got no resource to go to find out how to fix it, except for pick up the phone and call you. So it's important that you've got some sort of a system manual or systems operations manual there so that they clearly know how to be able to run the business when you're not there. It'll set you free. It'll eliminate a lot of chaos inside your organization. Things will run smoother. Your employees will be happier, and trust me, your profits will be up as well. Number 5 is you got to avoid the employee work like the plague. So back in the slides that we looked at 4 or 5 slides ago, we talked about all those things, what an employee should be doing and what an owner should be doing. Well, you got to make sure that you're not doing those employee work. We want to hire people to do that. Those are lower dollar items that somebody else should be doing, so you should be working on the higher leverage items that's going to bring more income into your business. I like to tell, we talked about it early on, Ron, that we only have 8 hours in a day. We want to make sure we leverage that 8 hours doing the things that are most important to maximize our business. And the only way to do that is to be working on the things that the owner should be doing and not what the employee is doing.
Yeah, and I think it's really important. Again, this goes with our theme of be an owner, not an employee. If you think like an owner and you act like an owner, these 5 things that are on here are very simple to do. You know, you work on the business plan, hire the right people. You know, you got to surround yourself with a great team, understand your numbers, systematize everything, and then when something comes across your desk that somebody needs a hand out in the shop, I don't do that work. That's employee work. I'm an owner, and it'll help you take your business to the next level and quicker than anything else. Again. That's the beauty of all of this. This is a very, very, it's complex yet very simple. I'm not here to tell you that this is something that you're going to be able to do everything overnight, but the changes are more profound than putting more cars in your shop than anything else. And trust me, this is coming from a marketing guy where I live, eat, and breathe marketing. And I'm here to tell you that if you do these things, the marketing takes care of itself because you'll get better results with your marketing and you'll get more car count if you do these things right, because now you have more time to do that. But here's the real good news about this. And again, I've said it a few times on this webinar. The good news is this costs you nothing. Nothing on there that we just talked about costs you any money. Yes, we talked about surrounding yourself with with the right people, and that's an employee. Well, the employee, he gets paid out of that 80%. Okay, you still get your 20%. So don't worry about the cost of the employee. They are going to pay for themselves if you get the right person in place. So we're not asking you to spend more money. We're asking you to work a whole lot less, not work a whole lot more. Yes, you're going to be doing different things, different than you're used to. Working on being an owner is not something that people are used to, but that's what you need to do if you want to be able to take home that 20%. It's going to put more money in your pocket. The national average was 5%. We're telling you it should be 20%. That's 4 times your income, plus getting paid like an employee if you're doing employee work. So in a lot of cases, this, I know it sounds like a bunch of hype, and I don't want to sound hypey, but this really could take your take-home pay times 5 or times 10, depending on what you've been taking home. It certainly will double your income without adding more cars to your shop. Okay, it's a matter of doing it the right way. So it's going to put more money in your pocket, and it's also going to give back your time and freedom. Again, we can always make more money. We can never make more time. And the freedom from the shop, what can you do with that freedom? Well, spend more time with your family, your kids, go see a ball game, go golfing, fishing, go to the racetrack with Keith and watch him race, whatever. That's the freedom that you should enjoy as an owner. The lifestyle is what you're really working for. So make the business your servant instead of you being a servant to the business. All you need to make these changes is a little knowledge and a little guidance. That's all. You don't need a ton of money. You don't need a ton of time. You just need the right knowledge and the right guidance. And that's really what we're here to help you with. So here's how we can help you. What we've done is we've set up a special website, repairshoponr.com. And here's what we'd like to offer you. We'd like to offer you 30 minutes of our time. And all you do is you go over, you give us your name, your email address, and the best number to reach you, and we'll start scheduling times, or we may just call you to kind of see if you're available to talk with us, and really just kind of have a sit down on the phone, and let's talk about your particular situation and see what it is, if we can get you pointed in the right direction. And that's really the key. We're in 30 minutes, let's face it, we're not gonna solve all the problems of the world, but we're going to get you pointed in the right direction. So, by asking just a few key questions and you giving us a few key and honest answers, we'll be able to get you going in the right direction. You're going to get enormous value just from the time that we have on the phone. So, we've talked with enough shop owners. We work with thousands of shop owners, so we kind of know how to get the biggest bang value in a 30-minute time period with you, because that's really what we're here to do. We're here to serve you. That's the reason why we were asked to do this webinar, is because we're there to help. We want to make sure that everybody is on the right page with us. And look, if you decide that you want to use our services and move on, that's perfectly fine. If not, hey, we gave you some great information that you can start applying to your shop. Keith, do you have anything to say about that?
No, I think that you're 100% spot on in what you're saying there. I mean, a lot of the things that we've been talking about here are items that it's very simple and easy to implement inside your business. I know I'm going to kind of go back to that slide that you talked about before, and I keep doing that, but I'm making notes here. But when we took that shop from 0 to $1 million, we did that in 53 weeks, so a little over a year. But again, I want to go back and say I started that shop from scratch. So that shop that we actually started, we had no customers. We didn't have any equipment in the back, so we had to make sure we got the equipment in there. We had to go ahead and start driving customers. We had to get the right people, and so on and so forth. A lot of shop owners that we're working with, like you're talking about here, those individuals have all those things in place already. So they have all the great things in place. It's just a matter of getting themselves off the track they're on and getting on the right track and start working on the right things inside their business so they can get what they want out of it.
Yeah, now we're not done yet. I just wanted to kind of toss this in there because I know some of you have probably been asking, how do we get more help? And me and Keith, and we have one of our shop owners we work with for a very long time who's achieved some amazing things. One of the three of us will be happy to sit and talk with you and get you over that hump, because that's really what we're here to do. But I'm sorry.
The other thing you said, Ron, I mean, with not just in the fact that I'm a shop owner and I've got shops, but being that we've done this for such a long time with a lot of shop owners, like you said, you get on the phone and, a lot of times I can ask a few key questions and know pretty much exactly where somebody's at. I mean, they're having challenges. They have no clue where to go or what's causing it. They think they do, but more often than not, when we start talking, they're not even close in identifying what the problem is. But since we've been doing this for such a long time, there is some key questions that we can ask to really get an idea of some clarity of exactly what is causing their problem. And then obviously going ahead and recommend what to do from that point is the easy part. The hard part is identifying what's wrong. And that's where our experience comes in to be able to identify what that is so we can clearly set them in the right direction.
Yeah, so let's talk about, you've probably seen this as a totally different approach. Normally you might hear, oh, what you need to do is have this whiz bang social media marketing blitz, or you need to, do all this marketing, or you need to buy this doohickey or that doohickey. We're not talking about that. This is a totally different approach to taking your shop to the next level, because it's not a one size fits all solution. Okay, we already know that stuff doesn't work. We already know that trying to fit a round peg in a square hole just doesn't fit. So that's the reason why we would like to talk with you and ask you those key questions so we can help you determine the right way to go. What's really cool about this is, in a lot of cases, it takes what you already know and adds some missing pieces, and puts it into a real world working system for you. So it's not a matter of learning a whole bunch of new things. You probably have many of the pieces in place already and just don't know how to connect them, how to connect the dots or put the puzzle piece together. And that's what this phone call is going to help you do. And based on this, because we're talking with you individually, it's 100% customized for each and every shop based on your unique situation. Also, this helps you develop into a better owner, not a better employee. We're not here to make employees better. So if you want the employee position, that's not, we just can't help you. Okay, we're all about helping you become a better owner, not a better employee. And rather than working harder and longer, you'll work far, far less. I mean, Keith, how many hours did you used to work in your shop when you did things the old way?
Oh, I mean, I used to work Monday all the way through to Sunday. I mean, literally, and I would do that almost every day of the week. Whether it was a holiday in that week or not, I was there getting caught up or just trying to be able to, figure out what I thought was wrong, and I wasn't even close to identifying what it was, and it just continued that way year after year. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but in a lot of cases it was pushing 70, 75 hours a week.
Yeah. Now, how many hours do you work?
I work right now with the three shops about 5 hours, I want to say, a week. And the reason why it's like that is because I'm working on the things that the owner should be working on, and I've got a lot of those things already in place. So now it's just a matter of managing those items, and the employee takes care of the regular day-to-day operations at the store.
Yeah, so massive transformation, 75 hours down to 5 hours, working far less, yet taking home owner pay, which is 20%. Okay, that's the key. This approach is also going to help you keep on track what really matters in your business. Turning wrenches is what you do. The business is in place to do something far different. Okay, this does not take months and months and months or years to put to work for you. The results can be immediate. Just making a few adjustments to those numbers can immediately make a huge difference in your business. Also, what we do is we create an easy to implement, workable plan based on the income and lifestyle that you want. I mentioned it before. You may love turning wrenches. You may love selling service. We are not here to get you out of doing that. That is the last thing we want. People have, you started your business for a very specific reason, and if that's what it is, of doing some of the employee work, the last thing we want to do is take you out of that. Some of you want to do a lot of travel and want to take more time away from the shop. Great. We can put a plan together that will give that for you. Some of you may just absolutely love working, and the last thing I'm going to do is tell you not to do that if that's really what you want to do. So we can put together a workable plan based on that. That's the cool thing about this. It's not a one size fits all. It's very easy to implement, and it takes you in mind. But here's the thing, it can unplug you from the daily chores that you're doing right now and makes your business more valuable for when or if you wish to sell. So if you're getting up there in years and thought at some point you're going to get out of this business and you're going to sell it, well, just think of it this way. If you as the owner does not have to be in the business, and the business is cranking out 20% net profit into your pocket, and you're not working a lot of hours and you're not having to work in the business, of course it's going to be a lot more valuable to somebody when they decide to purchase it. And finally, it helps turn the dreams you had back when you started your business into solid realities. You had your vision of what life was going to be like as a shop owner, and they were all visions of glory. And the reality of what's happening right now probably isn't as rosy as you thought it would be. So this really helps you turn those dreams back, into the reality. So let's talk about what is it really costing you to not be maximizing what you already have right now. Remember, we're not trying to add more to your business. We're trying to maximize what you already have. We're not trying to put more cars in your shop. We're not trying to put more hassles. We're trying to take what you have now and maximize the advantage you have right now. So who here isn't spending enough time with your family or friends? Just go ahead and raise your hand. I can't see you, but go ahead, do it. Who here does not have enough money saved for retirement? That's a big thing. Most shop owners, when we talk with, don't have a penny saved for their retirement, yet they're getting up there in years. We don't want that to happen to you. Finally, who here is not living exactly where you want to live, driving the exact car you want to drive, and living the exact life you want to be living? Remember, I said earlier on, your future depends on you. It's the decisions you make right now and moving forward that are going to put you in the right house, in the right car, living the lifestyle that you want. That's totally in your control. What we're here to do is help sort of be a catalyst for that, get you pointed in that right direction and help you build that lifestyle that you really want. I mean, we really care about the clients we work with, and whether you're a client or not, go ahead, sign up for that 30-minute consultation, and we'll get you started in that right direction. Okay, we really, really do want to help. But let me give you fair warning too. This is not for everybody. I don't want to say that this is a perfect fit for everybody. So let's just kind of go through a few people that this is not for. Okay, if doing employee work is what you crave, and you don't want to be an owner, you just want to be an employee, we can't help you. I think we've made that abundantly clear. We're here to create great owners, not great employees. And if you're happy with your business right now and aren't looking to make any changes, we can't help you. So if you do sign up for that 30-minute call with us, we're here to help you make a change. But if everything is hunky-dory with your business and you absolutely love life right now, we can't help, because things apparently are going exactly the way you want them to be. And congratulations, that's fantastic. It's just that we're not a good fit for you. We love hearing those stories, but we expect to be on the phone for quite a long time talking with a lot of people. And we want to talk with people that would want help, that want to make those changes. And finally, flat out, if you're not the owner or don't own a business right now, we're not able to help you. Okay. Again, we're just trying to, in the interest of time, we want to be able to help everybody that we possibly can. So we want to talk with the owners of the shop, and if at all possible, if it's a husband and wife, or you have a business partner, it'd be great to have them on the phone, because it's always easier to have two people on the same track rather than talk with one and then have the other one try to figure out, what that phone call was like. So we really do want to help you. All right. So if you're looking to take back control of your business, double your income at least, as I said before, maybe could be triple or almost 10 times your income, and also live the lifestyle that you truly deserve, that's what we're here to do. We can help you, but we can't help you unless you ask for that help. Okay, we've given a lot of great information on this webinar. We want to be as helpful as we possibly can, but unless you reach out and ask some questions of us, we can't help. Okay, so go to repairshoponner.com, just fill out the very brief form that we have there, and we'll give you a call, and we'll see if we can get you pointed in the right direction. And also, just to let you know, earlier on we talked about a bonus. So at the end of our call together, when you call, request a call, and we talk with you, we want to get you really moving quickly in the right direction. So we're going to show you things that you can do right now to improve your business, but we also want to give you a course that we just created not long ago. We normally sell it for $297. We call it our cash flow generator course. It's our jump start. And this is going to get you off and running, flying down the road, because you're going to be able to find a lot of hidden money that's in your business that you didn't know you had. To the tune of thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that's just sitting there that you're not taking advantage of. This is a 7-module course filled with great ideas that you're going to be able to move right away. So that's our free gift to you just for getting on the call with us, because we're going to everything kind of points towards this, is we need to get that momentum. So when we talk with you, we'll tell you what you need to do, and then we'll give you this course to keep that momentum really, really taking off for you. So I think you'll be very, very pleased with not only the information on our one-on-one call, but you're certainly going to be thrilled with this cash flow generator course. So Keith, do you have any other things to add?
No, my last thoughts is I really would encourage everybody when they're done with this webinar to kind of sit back and really maybe close your eyes and give yourself a moment or two and really think, is my business really giving me what I want? I mean, am I clearly happy? Or first figure out maybe if it's been that long, why did I go in the business in the first place, and is it really providing me with that? And if it's not, it's like, well, geez, I might not like where I'm going to end up if I don't make some changes. And it doesn't matter if you're somebody that's been at this for, 5 years, 10 years, or maybe even 30 years. It's really never too late to implement these things that we've been talking about so that you can change the direction you're on and you can go ahead and get what you deserve. I mean, I look back, Ron, and never did I ever dream that when my shop was doing $300,000 a year in gross sales, and I had 2 employees, that I'd be where I'm at today, with over $5 million in sales with the 3 shops and over 28 employees. So I say dream big. If you're going to be thinking about it, what you really want, dream big, because it is definitely achievable.
Yeah, I think it was Wayne Gretzky that said, "You miss 100% of the shots you never take." So we'd really love to help you. Give it a shot. Let's talk. The worst that's going to happen is you spend 30 minutes and walk away with some great direction as to where to go. And again, we know we can help. We've done it plenty of times, and we'd love to be able to help you. Okay, so again, go to repairshoponr.com and fill out that form, and we'll do some more personal one-on-one questions. A lot of times on the one-on-one calls, we can dig deeper, and by having that conversation, I think you're going to get a lot more value out of it. But we are going to leave ourselves time right now. We're going to go ahead and fill out, and I believe I'm not quite sure exactly how this is going to work, but I'll go ahead and turn things over and to the moderator, and we'll figure out how to handle these questions. So again, we want to field your questions. We're here to help.
Ron and Keith, thank you so much for being with us today. I hope that the shop owners and all those listening will be able to utilize the information you've presented in order to better their business. I also want to thank our sponsor, Repair Shop Coach. Again, to continue the conversation or to ask a question, visit repairshoponr.com or email at support@repairshopcoach.com. Thank you.